Sorry it's a little late, but I had a few things going on today, as we just got back from school summer fair for my sister's school. So yeah, here we go with today's country, which is Romania. So yeah, here we go, and starting off with the history. Right, so the earliest inhabitants of Romania were in the Stone Age, hunters who lived around 8000 BC. In a time where the people of Romania were learning how to farm and making Bronze Age tools. I'm not sure if I'm sunburnt here or not, but it's cold, feels cold. Eventually they learned to use iron ore, and from about 600 BC. The ancient Greeks traded with the people they called Gaeti, and they found a settlement on the coast of Romania. And Romans called the people of Romania Dacians, and from 101 to 102 AD, Roman Emperor Trajan led a campaign against the Dacians, and a further campaign as far as from 105 to 106 AD, and the Romans crushed the Dacians at the Battle of Samizagetsua. So, let me know if they've said that right. And afterwards, Dacia became a Roman province, and settlers from other parts of the Roman Empire were brought in, and the local people became Romanized and began to speak Latin. But the Roman rule was short-lived, and it only lasted not quite 3 centuries, and in roughly about 1-2 centuries. And in the 3rd century, the cost of defending Dacia from the barbarians became too great, and in 271 Emperor Aurelian withdrew the Roman Empire south of the Danube, and loads of migrants came to Romania. And in the 5th century came the Huns, and in the 6th century they were followed by the Avars, and in the 7th century the Slavs. And Romania gradually settled down, and a feudal order emerged. So yeah. Meanwhile, in the 10th century, the first people called the Magyars, the ancestors of modern Hungarians, arrived in Transylvania, and by the 13th century the Hungarians ruled Transylvania, although it was allowed some autonomy. And the Hungarian kings persuaded Germans to go and live there, although the inhabitants of Transylvania were Magyars or Germans. Most of the population were Romanian peasants. Getting excited down there. And by this 14th century, Radu Negru, from 1310 to 1352, united some Romanians and formed the first Romanian principality under Wallachia. They were home to the Latvian Impaler later on. And later in the 14th century, another principality, Moldavia, was formed, and most of the peasants became serfs. They were halfway between slaves and freemen. And they were ruled over by aristocrats called boyars. And during the 15th century, a new threat came from south of Romania, and both Wallachia and Moldavia fought the Turks, and the notorious Vlad the Impaler lived at the time as well. As he ruled, and as you know, he ruled Wallachia on and off. And in 1593, Michael the Brave became the ruler of Wallachia, and by 1595 he fought and defeated the Turks, and in 1599 he defeated the Transylvanians and became Prince of Transylvania. In 1600 he conquered Moldavia and made himself its prince, but he was killed a year later in 1601 and the union ended. And in the 17th century, Wallachia and Moldavia came to be dominated by the Turkish Empire, and in the 18th century they had puppet rulers under Turkish control. Now in 1683 the Turks were defeated at Vienna, and in 1687 Habsburgs, the rulers of Austria, took Transylvania, and some of its people were Magyars or German, but most were Romanian peasants still. And the harsh treatment led to a rebellion headed by three Sirs called Haria, Kloxa and Quisan, but the rebellion failed, and but in 1785 the Habsburg Emperor abolished serfdom in Transylvania, which seems kind of late in the run of things. And during the early 19th century Turkey continued to dominate Wallachia and Moldavia, while the Turkish power was weakening. And in 1859 the two principalities were united under a single prince called Alexander Ion Cuza, and the new state was named Romania in 1862. Finally, in 1877 Romania declared its independence from Turkey, and Cuza carried out reforms on Romania, including abolishing serfdom, and it was unpopular with conservatives. And in 1866 he was overthrown and Prince Carol replaced him. And in 1881 King Carol I. In 1916 Romania joined Britain, France and Russia against Germany and Austria-Hungary. And in 1918 Romania took Transylvania from Hungary, and Bessarabia, which was taken by the Russians in 1812, became part of Romania again, and as a result Romania increased greatly in size, and its population increased from about 7.5 million to 12 million. And in 1920 the Western powers recognised the changes by the Treaty of Trianon. And in 1927 the left-wing Legion of Archangel Michael, best known as the Iron Guard, was formed in Romania. And in the 1930s an era of political instability in Romania, with many different governments. And finally in 1938 the king banned political parties and introduced a royal dictatorship in Romania. And in 1914 Stalin forced Romania to surrender its eastern province of Bessarabia to Russia, and furthermore Hitler forced the Romanians to give up northern Transylvania to Hungary, to give other territories to Bulgaria, and as a result of giving away so much territory, King Carol became unpopular and forced to abdicate in favour of his son Michael. However, Michael had little power, and Marshal Ion Antonescu made himself a fascist dictator of Romania and called himself Conductor, or leader. And in June 1941, under Antonescu, Romania joined the German invasion of Russia, partially regaining Bessarabia, and during the Second World War, many Jewish people and from the traveller community were deported and murdered. However, from 1943 Germany was losing the war, and finally on the 23rd of August 1944 Antonescu was removed in a coup, and Romania changed sides and declared war on Germany. And by the end of October 1944 the Germans and Hungarians were driven out of Transylvania. Transylvania became part of Romania again. However, after the war Russian troops were stationed in Romania, which made a communist takeover inevitable, with the Russians taking Bessarabia again. In November 1946, elections were held in Romania, and left-wing parties did well, and the communists took key posts in. And by December 1974, the king was forced to abdicate. And in February 1948, other left-wing parties merged with the Communist Party. As a totalitarian regime was introduced, and in Romania, industry was nationalised. And meanwhile, Antonescu was shot as a war criminal in 1946, and thousands of other Romanians shared the same fate. And Russian troops withdrew from Romania in 1958, and after the 1960, Romania adopted an independent foreign policy. And in November 1965, Nicolae Ceausescu became ruler of Romania, and although Ceausescu had an independent foreign policy, he ruled Romania with an iron fist, as Ceausescu was determined to increase heavy industry in Romania, but the older people suffered from abject poverty and suffered terrible repression, and the communist regime suddenly collapsed in Romania in 1989, and in December demonstrations took place in Timisoara, and in 21st of December Ceausescu was booed by a crowd in Bucharest, and demonstrations followed. The next day, Ceausescu appeared on a balcony of the Central Committee building, but he was forced to escape by helicopter, and Ceausescu's fellow communists deserted him, and he was arrested. Both he and his wife were shot on Christmas Day 1989. Now, some people, what day is Christmas? Probably idiots going to ask when Christmas Day is. 25th of December, as it always has been, as I'm talking about the Christian Christmas kind of thing. And then Romania then faced a difficult transition from communism to democracy and a market economy. And a body called the National Salvation Front took control, and in May 1919 it won elections, and it won further elections 2 years later in 1992. However, in 1996, Emil Constantinescu, head of the right-wing Democratic Convention in Romania, won the presidential elections and was replaced in 2000 by Iliescu. Now, Romania joined NATO in 2004, and 3 years later, in 2007, they joined the EU and suffered badly in the recession of 2009, but was able to recover from by 2011, and the economy is growing steadily, and as of about 2017, 21.6 million people live in Romania. Now moving on to language, as Romanian is a lingua romana, lingua romana is the official language of Romania, Moldova and the Serbian autonomous province of Vojvodina, as Romanian is an Indo-European language and a major member of the European group of Romance languages, and is a closest to modern Italian in terms of mutual intelligibility, and also shares many grammatical features and word origins with other Romance languages. And Romania, which has a Transylvanian plateau at its centre and much of its southern border formed by the Danube, is positioned in the heart of the territories once occupied by the Dacian peoples, and long before the Romanian Empire stretched northwards. Across the Danube, the Dacians had made considerable economic and cultural progress, with gold mines and contributing their interest in Roman eyes. And they came into repeated conflict with the expanding Roman Empire, and there was intermittent warfare between the Dacians and the Romans from the 1st century BC onwards. and they were finally subdued by the Romans under Trajan in a series of campaigns between 101 and 106 AD, and their region became Roman province of Dacia, and remained under direct Roman control for nearly 2 centuries, until about 270 AD, when the Romans were no longer able to sustain a military presence north of the Danube. As the Dacians spoke an Indo-European language about which little is known, it's possible that a few hundred words derived from their language may have survived to present-day Romanian. But yeah. And there's no more than a few hundred words derived from words derived into modern-day Romanian. Though this remains speculative, and what is clear is that the language will give rise to modern Romanian, developed on the foundation of Demotic Latin, perhaps acquired by Romanized Dacian, or imported north of Danube by migrants from the south, whose forebears spent longer within the orbit of a Roman culture, and acquired its identity as a language between the 7th and 10th centuries AD, and during which time those who spoke it became known as the non-Romanian neighbours as Wallachians, to the Serbs. It's remarkable that the language has survived to become one of the more widely spoken Balkan languages, despite the heartland being over a bunch of Goths, Slavs, Magyars, Bulgars and Turks. Modern Romanians reflects the linguistic diversity of the different people who have passed through or settled in the regions, which many loan words take from Slavic sources. In Old Church Slavonic exercised a strong influence through its use of the liturgical language of the Romanian Orthodox Church, until it was replaced by Latin and formations of the Romanian Greek Catholic Church in Transylvania in 1698. As Turkish, Hungarian, Albanian and German have also been an important source of words borrowings. However, there has been a tendency since the 19th century for the Romance component in Romanian to be accentuated, in particular to be assimilated with French and Italian loanwords, and there have been tendencies to displace their Serbian equivalents. As a result, so it has been to as much as 90% of modern Romanian is ultimately derived from Latin. The more recent Romance borrowings are easier for English speakers with some knowledge of Latin or French and Italian to recognise that the original Romanian Latin-based words are. This is because the Romanian developed a relative isolation from other major Romance languages over a number of centuries, while being in close contact with Hungarian Slavic influences. In recent years there have been increasing borrowings from English, and English speakers will some words like sandwich, which kind of sounds a little bit, and composer, or a phrase like specialist in fits or therapy. So yeah, moving on to legends. As the Romanian mythology can be quite impressive, with legends such as the Baba Dacia, Manol and Bela of Maiotia, which can say that Romania is pretty can be cohesive when it comes to mythology. While we do have some pretty funny, as there can be some superstitions and other legends that can be seen as funny, and other legends that are meaningful and even a little bit believable. So yeah, I'm going to kind of go into 3 that may not be well known but still there, other than Vlad the Impaler being inspiration for Dracula. can help delve into a bit more about like the beliefs and superstitions of a lovely country that gave birth to one of my friends who is Romanian. There's a Solomon Now, it's like sometimes good, sometimes wicked. The Solomon is considered a great sorcerer of storms and winds and master of all lakes, tall mountains and deep caves, and a creator of frost, mist and hail. Tall, red-haired and bulging eyes, dressed in a white long coat, as he's always been described as carrying like a magic book, which is the source of all his powers. And people who claim to have seen him say along with his book he also carries a piece of wood for calling the winds, an iron axe which he used to create hail. As Romanian mythology says that only a baby boy born with a distinctive sign over his face or body can become such a wizard. Taken away by an old Solomon, the boy is trained for 10 years at the Solomon school and found somewhere at the end of the earth in a deep cave, and there he studies the language of all beings of earth and all the magic spells ever created, and then after many hard tests he is left alone on a rock table to write down all his knowledge in his own book. And they are generally considered good wizards and often presented as false beggars, testing the kindness of people. And if people refuse to help him while they are in disguise, they bring hail and strong storms to ruin the crops. And if they are helped, they offer gifts to the river and plead the water fairies. And its various regions of the country, the Solomon Isles, are divided into two categories, good and evil. Said that the evil ones bring raging storms and floods, but these maleficent creatures have an enemy, the Solomon who became a master of stones. And some people believe that Solomon are successors of a Dacian high priest known as Capnobatai, but received their name after King Solomon, famous for his wisdom and knowledge. And others claim that they are descendants of Saint Elijah, and this is the reason why they are master of storms and thunders as well. Also, the exact origin of Solomons are not considered gone, and in fact they are well respected and have a special place among the magical beings of Romanian folklore, as some people claim to have even seen them, especially in the region of Bucovina. And there's someone's also described as Carpathian Gandalf, who not only masters the elements but the masters of the mythical dragons. Some people claim that they saw the mighty dragon come out from deep mountain lakes, obeying the commands of Solomonaz. Then there's Jadovi, the Carpathian giants. The legends of many nations described a bygone era when the world was ruled by giant humans, and some sources claim that the legendary area is not at all a story, and that those giants indeed ruled in a world at some point in time, and even if they did or did not exist, they left us beautiful stories of their ways of living, as the Romanian giants are known as Jadovi, are probably one of the most beloved folklore creatures, as Jadovi are described as Romanian legends as kind and patient, walking with huge steps from one hill to another, and their presence in Romania was well maintained by a multitude of places that were named after them, like the Jadovi Table, the Jadovi Cave, and the hill or tombs of Jadovi. And there is Jadovin now, a measuring unit consisting of several meters, which is the equivalent of a giant step. Their memory is well preserved, and you must not be surprised to hear that there are still many people who believe in their past existence. And in the Carpathians, Jadovi are often named Blagini, which means the kind ones, or Nevasi, which means the powerful ones, as they could snatch a tree without any effort. And they lived in caves and thick woods, enjoying talking and respecting little humans, which they considered their successors and extenders of all the rivers and mountains. And at the beginning of the 1900s, there were still some people who claimed to have heard real stories about Jidovi from their grandparents, who saw them in person. And according to their stories, they were few giants left, but lived in great communion with humans. And when the great floods came, Jidovi took care of people and their animals without asking for any reward. And also there is also a story that repeats regardless of the region it originates from. And when this giant seeing people plough the land, took them into their hands as little toys, smiled at them and put them back carefully. But the best legend is that one of the best legends is that of a famous agreement between the great Dacian king Babista and all the Jidovi from the mountains, that were left to live in the mountains only if they promised to guard with their life the great Dacian gold treasures. So it is believed that in the deepest caves of the Carpathian Mountains there may still live some Jidovi, protecting the treasures for generations to come. And it's like last one for now, was this Saboratrol, the lover from the stars, as a mythical creature of the night, usually frightening and maleficent. But there is one, can be seen as a fascinating creature born from unshared love, so attractive and mysterious, like the true prince of the night, and is called Saboratrol, meaning the one who flies, now a handsome airman, tormenting the sleep of young girls and young wives. And according to Romanian mythology, Saboratrol is actually a personification of intense feeling of erotic desires and longing for a man, and it's described as a shooting star coming down through the chimney of the window, entering a girl's room in the shape of an incredibly handsome man, and sometimes in the shape of a man who the girl loves. They must consume their love in the world of dreams, but everything is so intense, almost real, that the young becomes exhausted and obsessively in love. And some old books even tell stories about young girls haunted by the mysterious man, becoming so desperately in love that they start acting like lunatics, walking down from village streets almost undressed and untidy, obviously exhausted, and sometimes semi-conscious. And how cruel it must have been. It must have been cruel for them all to be judged by their community, and because their dreams become their second reality, one full of love and passion. And the fate was even crueler when the girls recently married and were judged like whores and all that, and discredited by the community and the family, blamed to have a weakened will and no love or respect for a working, responsible husband. But Saboratrol was no ordinary lover, as he developed obsessions, and curing this love illness was a hard thing to do. Even now in some remote villages there are few people remembering such women who were at the edge of losing their minds or their marriages forever. And luckily there is certain chosen people known as good sorcerers, as with the permission of a possessed girl, and with some magic that have succeeded at healing. And it said that they use magic words that asked Saboratrol to leave, to hide and never to return, and they also use magic plants like wild garlic, mandrake, lovage, or deer grass to create strong potions to bathe a woman for 3 days in a row. And at the end of this, the ritual the girls were cured and Saboratrol was gone, and their life kept on going as usual. And if the sorcerers were known to have disappeared longer, love stories and passionate dreams are certainly not, as maybe Sir Borutel adapted to our modern times, and uses like other ways of tormenting young women's love lives. As Beauty knows, but these are just some of folklore and all that of like Beauty and Mystery of Romania, and sung by poets and painted in ink by illustrators and writers. So yeah. Guys, so yeah. That is essentially Romania for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Sounds like all over the country, and yeah. I'll see you all soon, so yeah. Bye for now.